I'm joined by Andrew Eborn. Now, Andrew, you like science. This is really interesting. The success, this is basically, we have major problems with the blood supply in this country. So, for example, we need more people to donate, particularly from ethnic minorities, for example, for people who are suffering from, say, sickle cell or whatever else. But this is a really interesting story. Unlimited lab-grown blood could soon be a reality.
Absolutely.
This is blood grown from stem cells. So Professor Dame Angela McLean said Britain may no longer need to rely on blood donations if ongoing testing of synthetic blood proves successful. And in 2022, in January, red blood cells grown in a lab from stem cells, these are what we call pluripotent stem cells, which can differentiate into other cells, were transferred to a patient in a world-first clinical trial. It was led here in the UK by the NHS Blood and Transplant and the University of Bristol. The results expected next year. And this really leads very nicely to you, actually. The government released on Thursday a report highlighting areas in engineering biology where Britain hoped to lead the way, creating successful synthetic blood amongst the top aspirations. So transforming blood cells so that essentially we could then have a factory producing, I assume, O-negative blood, which would then basically be used, and you could upgrade it, or you could print or create as much as you need in times of war or problems or car crashes or terrorist attacks or whatever. That is amazing science.
And as you know, I speak around the world as Back to the Futurist, talking about the seismic advances there are in medicine, in every industry, including through AI. What's going to happen? You might remember pig transplants and different organs and so on and so forth. We had the first transplant of a womb. There will be these seismic advances, and this is brilliant. We're solving diseases, we're curing diseases people never thought possible. The future's looking so bright for medicine and working on that sort of basis. And we punch way above our weight on the stage. The other thing we should be doing, and it's quite controversial about data, but the more information you can serve, if you can get rid of the privacy issues and anonymise some of the data, you can share some of the best learning in the world so that every GP could benefit on that sort of basis.
Now, I'm just very mindful of the data that was given away to Chinese companies, for example. So if you give your DNA, I think also with the closure of 23andMe, the DNA profiling company as well, then of course that data is rich in everything. Of course you need to be very careful who gets hold of that data.
Absolutely. Data is the new currency, as I've often said, but you have to, if you can get those safeguards in place, the benefits are tremendous because you'll share that information, you'll cure diseases and so on and so forth as a result of it.
Other projects the government has promoted, including using microbes like bacteria, for example, to take sugary waste, raw material waste, and then to make the bacteria convert it into synthetic kerosene for aviation fuel. That's amazing. Also, they believe that the aviation fuel can then be used for hypersonic flight and powering drones. Also, engineering cereal crops, which would then basically attract their own nitrogen, so you don't have to give the crop the nitrogen to create completely biodegradable clothing.
Absolutely. And this is why I say you can embrace AI as to help with all that, because it can suggest the way that it does that, it can evaluate all sorts of information and data and suggest solutions to issues, and a lot of that is happening as a result.